What's up, besties? I hope you're having a phenomenal day. So today I wanted to talk about a very interesting color. All of the coordinates should pop up on the screen right now. If I remember as well, I did that. The color is known as Baker Miller Pink, P618, Shores Pink, or Drunk Tank Pink. I'm using it in the drawing that you can see me making. It's the base color for the sky, but we'll get to my drawing near the end of this video and very briefly. Let's start with its history. There was a scientist named Max Ducher. Sorry for butchering the name. I did check how to pronounce it, but I forgot. So yeah. He actually died in February 2017 at the age of 93, and he was known for developing a color test. Basically, according to him, one's color preferences might reflect on their personality and are influenced by their emotional state. Let me just read a short paragraph from Wikipedia about how would that basically work, because I don't think there's much sense in me just rewording it. The test taker chooses the card color they like best and then orders the rest from most preferred to least preferred. Numbers are printed on the backside of each card, and after the test taker orders them, the examiner turns them over and references an accompanying book that contains all of the different number combinations and their meaning. Fisher argues that the subject's choice of color shows the state of their psychomantic and emotional status and how they feel about themselves. And when it comes to the meaning of colors, blue is depth of feeling, passive, concentric, tranquility, calm, tenderness, green, elasticity of will, passive, concentric, defensive, persistence, self-esteem, assertion, pride, control, red, force of will, eccentric, active, aggressive, competitive, action, desire, excitement, sexuality, yellow, spontaneity, eccentric, active, projective, aspiring, expectancy, exhilaration, violet, identification, unrealistic / wishful fulfillment, charm, enchantment, ouch, brown, bodily senses, indicates the body's condition, black, nothingness, renunciation, surrender or relinquishment, ouch, gray, non-involvement and concealment. Now, from what I found, this test isn't really regarded too highly in the scientific field, which honestly doesn't surprise me, because as cool as it sounds, reading that felt like reading horoscopes, where no matter which option you choose, you can find something you can identify with, because they're all vague enough that they can be applied to nearly anybody. And what I found, this is called the Burnham effect. And also, I feel like there is too many factors into what color someone likes. Like maybe someone just likes sunflowers, so they will like yellow because of that, or maybe it reminds them of their favorite food, or maybe it is in a song they like, and since it's in the lyrics of a song and they like the song, they like the color. There is too much. There still are some people who stand for using the test, especially with young children. But in general, as I've said, it's not really used again. I like the idea behind it, but anyway, in the late 1960s, another man named Alexander Chauss postulated that the reverse might be true, and that the color surrounding us may influence our mood, which is, at least in my humble opinion, far more believable. He was experimenting on himself, and he observed that color did affect muscle strength and even influence the cardiovascular system. And he discovered that a particular shade of pink had the most profound effect. This is the shade of pink this video is revolving around, obviously. According to him, staring at a big card with this color can result in lowering the heart rate, pulse, and respiration as compared to other colors. So the color was essentially calming you down. In 1979, he convinced the directors of a Naval Correctional Institute in Seattle, Washington, named Baker and Miller, later, the color was named after them, to paint some prisons this color to see what effect will have on prisoners. According to the Navy's report, since the initiation of this procedure on March 1st, 1979, there have been no incidents of erratic or hostile behavior during the initial phase of confinement, and only 15 minutes of exposure resulted in reducing the violent behavior amongst the prisoners. Well, I had a bit more than 15 minutes to share it. Anyway, it would be cool to end the story here, on this new positive finding, but unfortunately I can't. When the same shade of pink was employed in the Santa Clara County Jail, the prison incident rate increased and even peaked compared to the months before painting it pink, despite a small decrease in the first month. So some researchers believe that the symbolism of femininity of pink would be a bias in the results of the studies, because there was just overrepresentation of male prisoners in the participants, which I think is also a very interesting topic, because the perception that pink is a feminine color and blue is a masculine color is rather new. Many people believe that prior to 1940s it was the opposite, blue for girls, pink for boys. From what I've read, the change was likely caused by how gay men were marked with pink triangle when they were in Nazi concentration camps, but I want this video to be rather lighthearted, so I won't get deeper into that. I just thought it's important to mention just how closely the hatred of pink in men is related to homophobia. But from what I found, it wasn't the opposite either. Perhaps these colors just weren't as strongly related to gender as they are today. And why would they be, It's just societal norms. I don't think we discovered there is anything biological about that. Just like there is nothing biological about the pants for boys, dresses for girls thing, In 2011, a Swiss psychologist named Daniela Spath wrote about her own experiments with a different shade of pink. She named her shade Cool Down Pink, and she used it in 10 prisons across Switzerland. Over the course of her 4-year study, prison guards reported less aggressive behavior, and the inmates seemed to be able to relax more quickly if they were placed in the pink cells. From what I found, though, according to the Telegraph article, while the prison guards were happy with the changes, the prisoners not as much. I can't read the article because it's behind the paywall and I'm not willing to pay for it. But from what I've read outside of it, they just found it degrading to be surrounded by a color that's full to girls. So once again, it's more related with how society perceives colors, not really anything biological. I guess we can talk about the controversies now. Many people see it as just inherently sexist to suggest that the stereotypically feminine color can reduce aggression, and that once again it is humiliating towards the men to put them in these conditions. Frankly, while I wholeheartedly believe that men can enjoy the stereotypically feminine things and society shouldn't judge them for it, and perhaps we should just get rid of the stereotypes whatsoever and just let people enjoy things no matter their gender, I think forcing men into that will not work, and will just make them feel bad, because unfortunately our society still sees anything that has to do with womanhood and femininity as weakness. I don't know, it's a bit hard for me to emphasize with the men too much, because they tend to say stuff like, women are so emotional, women are so weak, women can't control what they're doing because of their emotions. But then they're just terrified of a color. Talking about being over-emotional. Also, I just think it's weird when men bully other men for liking feminine stuff and calling them homophobic slurs and implying that they're weak and not real men, whatever that means. Because I know it for sure that this alpha male types would not have the balls that are needed for a man to put on a dress and just go out in public like that. Overall, from what I've seen, there were more people conducting similar studies, and it doesn't really seem conclusive enough for me. Some say it works, some say it doesn't. I think like one of the Kardashians painted this color. There was also like some football team that painted the changing rooms for the guests thing, and that was supposed to do something. There's quite a lot of things about this color you can find on the internet I don't think are relevant. I personally think that it would be cool if it did work, but perhaps we're trying to just find simple solutions for very complicated problems, and we aren't able to count in all the other factors. We've talked about gender, but what else could be there? Maybe there were some other changes in prison swing question that may have influenced prisoners' behavior. From my perspective as someone who's been staring at a screen that had a Camilla Pink on it, yeah, I was very calm, but you know what else calms me down? Drawing. Drinking tea with honey, which I do when I'm drawing. Listening to true crime podcasts, which I do when I'm drawing. What I'm saying is, there's so many factors that I have no idea if the color had any impact on me or not. I have no way of knowing that. And even if I did get rid of them, maybe I would be stressed that I have to work in silence and be alone with my thoughts, or that I don't have anything to drink, or even if I replace the tea, that my drink isn't what I want to drink, or maybe something in that drink influences me, or something that isn't in that drink, Food has a lot of things that can influence how I feel. Maybe the lack of caffeine would be calming, or a different amount of sugar would influence me. I don't know. Also, I'm a woman, so I'm not scared of the color pink. There's just too many things to count, and I can't really experiment on myself like that. It doesn't mean anything universally. Anyway, when it comes to drawing, I really liked working with Bacon Millet Pink because it's a very saturated, juicy color. I could go the easy way and just use it as a plain pink background to a pink portrait that would have a lot of it too, but I decided to get a bit out of my comfort zone, and also since we're talking about a color that is so strongly connected with femininity, we mix it up with something more stereotypically masculine. So instead of my fantasy characters, I did something more sci-fi related, ? Also, I just really like the motif of flying fish. I keep on using that. I keep on using it, but let's ignore that part. I drew some buildings, a little jet ship thingy, and then a little dude dressed like an astronaut in the middle to make it more apparent that we can't breathe in the atmosphere in the place that I drew, and also for the size comparison. I wanted the place to look kind of dune-like, with these little hills of sand everywhere. Also, halfway through drawing the first building, I realized it looks like a face. Like it has a smiling mouth and eyes, and I didn't know what to do to get rid of that. So I made the second one and the ship have some facial features too. The second one has a big eye, and the ship has like eyes and a mustache. Yeah. But to summarize, colors don't have gender. Nothing revolutionary comes from any of the studies that I brought up, at least they bring interesting questions. If you have any more info on the topic or opinions on what I've said or on my drawing, I'd love it if you left them in the comment section down below. And for now, just stay safe, stay hydrated, wear a mask in places where masks should be worn, and peace!